Jake Murphy sat in his small apartment staring at the strange blue crystal that had appeared on his doorstep 3 days ago. Nobody knew where it came from, or why it was addressed to him specifically. The crystal hummed with soft energy and seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. When Jake touched it, the world changed around him. Bright lights filled his vision, and suddenly he stood in a massive ship floating somewhere in deep space. Tall, elegant beings with silver skin and glowing eyes surrounded him. They spoke in musical voices that somehow he could understand perfectly. The leader stepped forward. She was beautiful beyond human imagination, with flowing hair that seemed made of starlight. Her name was Lyra, and she belonged to a race called the Valente Jake Murphy of Earth. She said with a voice like singing wind, "You have been chosen. The great emperor Zalthos has died, and in his final decree, he named you as heir to his empire." Jake could barely speak. He was just a mechanic from Ohio who fixed cars for a living. Now aliens were telling him he owned half the galaxy. But there is more. Lyra continued, stepping closer. The emperor also decreed that his daughter, Princess Arya, would become your mate to seal the inheritance. A young woman emerged from the group of aliens. She was stunning, with the same silver skin as the others, but her eyes held a warmth that made Jake feel safe. Princess Arya looked nervous but determined. "I know this is strange for you," she said in perfect English, "but our laws are clear. If you accept the inheritance, you also accept me as your wife. If you refuse, both are lost forever." Jake looked around the ship at technology beyond his wildest dreams. Then he looked at Arya, who watched him with hope in her glowing eyes. "The Empire spans 300 star systems," Lyra explained. "Countless worlds filled with resources beyond measure. Advanced technology that could solve every problem on Earth. You would become the richest being in known space." Jake felt overwhelmed. A few days ago, his biggest worry was paying rent. Now he was being offered an empire and a wife from the stars. "Why me?" he asked. "Why would your emperor choose a human he never met?" Arya stepped forward and placed her hand gently on his arm. Her touch was warm and comforting. "My father studied your species for years," she said. "He believed humans possessed something special, a spirit that could unite different races and bring peace to the galaxy. He chose you because of who you are, not what you are." Jake looked into her eyes and saw sincerity there. This was not some trick or trap. She genuinely believed in him, even though they had just met. The princess continued, "If you accept, you will have power to help both our worlds. Earth could join the galactic community. Your people would never know hunger or war again, but the choice must be yours alone." Jake thought about his life on Earth, his dead-end job, his empty apartment, his loneliness. He had always dreamed of something more, but never imagined anything like this. "What about love?" he asked quietly. "Can there be love between us, or is this just politics?" Arya smiled, and her whole face lit up like a star. "Love grows from understanding and respect," she replied. "I cannot promise instant love, but I can promise to try. My heart is open to you if yours is open to me." Around them, the crew waited silently. Jake realized that hundreds of worlds depended on his decision. Billions of beings needed a leader, and somehow fate had chosen him to accept. He said finally, "I accept the inheritance, and I accept you as my wife." The ship erupted in celebration. Lyra and the crew cheered, while Arya moved closer to Jake. Her eyes sparkled with joy and relief. "Thank you," she whispered. "Now we can begin our life together." Over the following days, Jake learned about his new empire. The Valenti had technology that seemed like magic to human eyes. Ships that could travel between stars in minutes, devices that could heal any injury or illness, planets covered in cities that floated among the clouds. Arya stayed by his side, teaching him about galactic politics and alien cultures. She was patient and kind, explaining complex ideas in simple terms. Jake found himself drawn to her intelligence and gentle nature. The wedding ceremony took place on the capital world of Zentara. Thousands of beings from across the galaxy attended. Representatives from every major species came to witness the Union. Arya wore robes that sparkled like the night sky, while Jake wore formal Earth clothes that had been enhanced with alien technology. When they exchanged vows, Jake meant every word he promised to protect the Empire and its people, to rule with wisdom and compassion, and to cherish his new wife, who had risked everything by trusting a stranger from a distant world. After the ceremony, they stood on the palace balcony looking out at the vast city below. Arya took his hand and squeezed it gently. "Are you happy with your choice?" she asked. Jake looked at his beautiful alien wife, then at the incredible world spread out before them. He thought about the empire he now ruled and the responsibility that came with it. He said truthfully, "For the first time in my life, I feel like I belong somewhere." Arya smiled and leaned against him. "You belong with me now always." As they watched the sunset paint the sky in colors that did not exist on Earth, Jake realized his old life was gone forever. He was no longer just a mechanic from Ohio. Now he was an emperor, with worlds to protect and a wife to love. The blue crystal had changed everything, and Jake knew he would never look back. His real adventure was just beginning, and he would face it with Arya by his side, ready to build a future among the stars that neither human nor alien had ever imagined possible. The Empire was his now, and his heart belonged to the silver-skinned princess who had welcomed him home to a place he never knew existed.